Good morning, everyone. My name is Cherie Price. I am a higher education consultant with a labor and economic opportunity, and I administer the Perkins 5 post-secondary grant to post-secondary institutions and four-year institutions and one tribal college. Today, I'd like to welcome you to the session titled Exercise and Academic Success. Our presenters today are Mary Croze and Karen Hicks. Both are from Lansing Community College. Mary Croze serves as the Health and Human Services Director of Operations and Facilities. Within that role, she serves as the Fitness and Wellness Program Director. Mary has been with Lansing Community College for just over 19 years. She holds a bachelor's degree in health promotion and rehabilitation and a master's in health administration. Both degrees were earned and received from Central Michigan University. Karen Hicks serves as the Director of Assessment at Lansing Community College, Project Director for the Institute for Needs Assessment and Evaluation, and adjunct faculty in the College of Education at Wayne State University. Her current work is focused on conducting and teaching assessment and evaluation and the strategic alignment of higher education work. She has publications in TD at Work, Performance Improvement, Journal of Business and Technology, Evaluation and Program Planning and Performance Improvement Quarterly, and is co-author of Partners for Performance, a book for assessment practitioners. She also presents on assessment and evaluation topics at ISPI, ATD, SHRM, AAHLE, HLC, among others. I'd like to welcome you to the session and present Mary and Karen. Thank you.
Thank you, Cherie, for that introduction. Like she said, I'm Mary Croze. My colleague is Karen Hicks. And I just want to start by saying this truly, it has been a collaborative effort between Health and Human Services and Karen's role as Director of Assessment. So for those of you that have possibly heard our session before, we're excited to share. We have more data, so we will get to that part shortly. But for those that have not, we always start our presentation with what we call a brain break or an activity break. So if you're all willing, please stand up. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see me better. But what we're going to do is an opposite hand to opposite knee touch. So the right hand will come over to the left knee and you'll tap the knee, and then the left hand will come over to the right knee. And what we're going to do is we're going to spell out hippocampus in the pattern that we have it on the screen there. So I'll demonstrate once, and then I'm going to ask you to join me. So it'll look like HIPPOCAMPUS, hippocampus, where memory and learning take place. Okay, so I'm going to ask that you all join. And yes, we will repeat, so we'll go through this twice. Ready? Begin. HIPPOCAMPUS, hippocampus, where memory and learning take place. Again, HIPPOCAMPUS, hippocampus, where memory and learning take place. Thank you. You guys can all grab a seat. Typically when we do this session live, this would be our teaching moment where we'd ask what was the intention or the purpose of doing an exercise like that. So the purpose of that is there's something very intentional. I was purposely crossing my body, my right and left side, because what happens is when you make those cross, you're engaging both sides of the brain. So to cross and touch the opposite knee, opposite hands was very purposeful. And just a little bit about the hippocampus. It's a component of the brain. It's part of the limbic system where memory and learning take place. So what do we know about exercise or physical activity? There's a lot that we know, so I'm not going to bore you. I'm going to move through this fairly quickly because, like I said, we've got some great data that we want to get to. We also want to get to the application part about how you guys can incorporate this into your learning. So we know physically that exercise helps with oxygen uptake, or VO2 max, oxygen carrying blood capacity, the number and size of mitochondria, the number of functional capillaries. It increases fat burning enzymes, but it also decreases your resting heart rate, your submax heart rate, your recovery time, your blood pressure, and your blood lipids. We also know that physical activity helps us psychologically. So anxiety goes down, happiness goes up. It takes about 20 to 30 minutes of cardiovascular exercise for those chemical changes to start happening in the brain. The stress hormones go down, catecholamines like epinephrine, norepinephrine, and those endorphins go up, or what we like to call happy hormones. So how does exercise affect the brain? So we know it helps physically, psychologically, but how does it help the brain? Our research comes from the Spark book, Dr. John Rady, and we know that the exercise changes the chemistry of the brain. There's cognitive benefits at that biochemical level. So it gets your brain happy. I love happy hormones. I can see your chat too. Thank you. There's what's called angiogenesis, which is the growth of new blood vessels and neurons. So exercise in the brain. The frontal lobe is what we like to call the CEO of the brain. This is where all of our executive function happens. So things like concentration, abstract reasoning, problem solving, attention, verbal ability, and organization. So we know exercise has the most effect on the hippocampus, and the hippocampus is where memory and learning take place. It also activates the release of BDNF, which is brain-derived neurotropic factor, what we like to call the miracle grow of the brain. So that neuron growth enhances cognition. It stimulates and keeps us alert. It reduces our stress. It helps level our emotions, and it improves memory, and it gets us ready to learn. So what we're doing at LCC is an IRB approved study, and I just have to say we were the guinea pigs of our IRB committee. We blazed the trail and we were the first approved study, so we're super proud of that. But we are asking students to perform cardio exercise for 30 minutes before a test, exam, or even a presentation. And the cardio exercise could be brisk walking, running, treadmill, elliptical, stair mill, anything that gets the heart rate pumping. And when that is done, they take their hard test, exam, or presentation, and then they take a short survey and report back how they did. So what LCC is doing, I will tell you, this study started back in 2016 as a pilot, the fall of 2016, and we chose a class called Total Fitness. They were a captive audience. They had access to our fitness centers, and the results were so amazing that we decided that this needed to be a permanent thing, spring of 2017. So listed here are the courses that we've embedded it into. So our human nutrition, healthy lifestyles, foundations, and again, that total fitness and intro to fitness course. And then we also had a champion in our psychology department that would offer it as extra credit. What she would do is she would give them the option to either come to the fitness center half hour before their test, or they could use that 30 minutes to study. I will tell you, the first time she offered it, she got about 50% participation. So 50 that chose to exercise, 50% decided, no, I'm going to use it as study time. After the results, she had 100% participation in the physical activity because the students did so well with the activity and then taking the test. And she gave them extra credit to do that. So we also, on our website there, we have listed, we have a video which we're going to show you later, which we're super excited about. It's a great testimonial from one of our students. And we also have brain breaks and activity breaks that are anywhere from 2 to 3 minutes upwards of 10 that you could use in your courses if you wanted to with your students. Okay, so again, if you've been to one of our presentations, we like to move. So this is going to be a little different, and I hate to say this because I'm ready to move on from it. but we've changed a little bit because of the dreaded COVID. So this is typically a handshake break. I'm going to stand up. You can stand up if you'd like. Normally you would do this with a partner, but because that's not an option today, I'm going to do it more of like a boxing type move. So normally you do it with a partner and you touch elbows. But what we're going to do, since we're single today, is we're just going to throw an elbow, and then we're going to punch a fist, and then we're going to pretend like we're clapping down low and clapping down low, and then we would high 10 our partner, circle around and clap here. Again, the intention is to come across the midline because we want to engage both sides of that brain. So if everybody wants to join me, we'll go through it together, and again, we'll repeat it, so we'll do it twice. So it'll be elbow, elbow, fist, fist, low clap, high 10, open it up and clap at the bottom. And we'll go through again, elbow, elbow, fist, fist, low clap, high 10, open it up and clap. All right, thank you. So I'm going to hand it over to Karen. Now that we've engaged both sides of the brain, we're going to be sponges and we're going to absorb all this great information she's going to share with us.
Thanks, Mary. So I work in our data science department, and I started to work with Mary and the other fitness and kinesiology faculty back in the summer of 2017. So Mary mentioned that they had this really good literature. They knew that there was something to the cognition and academic success. And how could we apply that in the context of our college for our students? What would that look like? So they ran the pilot study and then said, well, let's start to collect some data to see if there's anything to this and how it's really influencing, or is it influencing student success for our students at LCC. So we started to collect data in the summer of 2017, and we've been collecting it every semester since then, all semesters, summer, fall, and spring, since 17. At the end of this spring, this last academic year, spring of 2021, we were just under 9,300 students surveys completed. So we could have repeat students, but by and large, it's about 9,300 survey submissions that came into us. As of this last semester, if I add in last summer, we're at about 10,000 students that have participated in this program. We collect the data by semester, and we look at the data by semester, by academic year, and for the whole program, the totality of the program as a whole. So we'll do little snapshot views and then look at the big picture overall. And what we're looking at today, the slides, is going to be that big picture overall. You can see here we've broken down the modalities. We wanted to know if this learning intervention could be applied in multiple modalities. Does it only work in a face-to-face course where I can give the face-to-face instruction and I can walk them over to the fitness center, or would it also be workable in an online environment or an ORT, an online real-time environment, or a hybrid environment? So you can see here, most of the students, about 62% of the students, are applying this learning intervention in an online learning environment. Now, we had a good amount of online before the last year and a half, but certainly the last year and a half, it has spiked the online participation. So, and Mary mentioned is that the student will receive the instruction about the cardio activity in their fitness, one of those classes that she had listed, but the student can apply it in any discipline they want to. So a lot of students might choose to apply it in Mary's class, but they might say, I've got a math test tomorrow that I want to apply it in. I've got a speech next week that I want to do it before my speech. Where they apply it is up to them. And so we're really happy to see that you can see it's about half the students will apply it in health and human services. That's that left pie chart. And about the other half of it will apply it in an arts and sciences course. That's the far chart on the right. In the middle, we have our technical careers, where you can see we have not as much participation just yet. On the below the pie charts, you can see a little bit more specifically in what program of study are they applying this cardio exercise. we were happy to see that it was really kind of peppered throughout the whole campus, through the different divisions, as well as through a lot of different disciplines, which we're excited about, because then it gives us a chance to kind of tease out by discipline to ask the question, does this influence certain disciplines more than other ones? Okay. So then the big question is does it change the students' grades? Now, the questionnaire that students fill out, I want to say it's about 15 questions, maybe even a couple less now. Really short. They can do it very quickly. They can do it on an electronic device. It goes over to Google Forms for us, where I have one Excel spreadsheet every semester that I download. It's super simple to do. And in that questionnaire, we will ask them about how they applied the criteria. Mary mentioned it's about 30 minutes bout of exercise. You do it for about 30 minutes prior to the assessment. And you do it for like a moderate a level of intensity. So we will ask them those questions on the questionnaire. Did you apply these criteria? And then we'll ask them, where did you apply the intervention? And then how did it affect your grade? We will ask them, what was your grade before you did the cardio exercise? And then what was your grade after you did the cardio exercise? And then that's how we look for the difference. This chart you're seeing here is a very simple chart where I've just rolled it up. Like I said, Mary and I look at it with a really detailed eye. We will drill down to the discipline, the modality, to really hone in on who is it influencing and in what ways. But overall, this graph is showing us that just over half, 54% of students are reporting that their grades increased after doing this cardio exercise, which we were thrilled with. To have over half of our students participating in the study increase grades is just phenomenal. About a third of them, the grade does not change at all. And then 12%, the grade will actually go down. We ask students too, we'll ask them why. Why do you think your grade increased? Why do you think it didn't change? Why do you think it decreased? And we start to see some themes in there too to help us. I should mention too that this is an overall look at it, but when we look at the detail of the data, what we find is we look at it by grade band. Your most likely movement up is to the next grade band. So for example, if I was at an average of 70 to 74% before the cardio exercise, I'm most likely to move into the 75 to 79 grade band after. One grade band is the most common. Where we found a really good amount of influence was in our students that were not passing to passing. So 69% or below, moving up to a 70% or above was 64%. So even more than half of our students. So we started to think to ourselves, as the more a student needs it, the more this program helps them. Okay, so we also asked them, in what ways did you find the experience helpful, if you indeed did find it helpful? Overall, we're at about 84% level of satisfaction. Again, this is over all of those semesters since 2017. And we see this number is pretty consistent. Somewhere in the 82 to 87-ish percent is what we'll see by semester. So this makes a lot of sense to us. You can see then we break it down too by modality. We were interested to know, do online students like it just as much, or do they find it more maybe cumbersome or more challenging to do when they're not face-to-face with the instructor? And you can see where we could shore it up a little bit here would be with our hybrid students. They're about 75%, which is a decent satisfaction rate, but certainly not on trend with the 80s that we're seeing in the other ones. But that helps Mary and I know then, oh, okay, we can focus right in on those hybrid courses and talk about how is it applied in this course and where could it be shored up a little bit. When we ask students for their feedback, we hear consistent themes. Words like it helped with my clarity, it helped improve my focus, it elevated my mood, it improved my memory, my thinking was more clear and organized, reduced my anxiety, helped balance my emotions and reduce my stress. really kind of in alignment with that slide that Mary had. We talked about all the different ways it could influence it. We're hearing that echoed from our students' voices. There's a good match between what we're seeing in the literature and what students are telling us. So we knew we're on a good track here. So we also, remember I mentioned this, that we like to tease it out by discipline. And in particular, we really wanted to see if we could get this program into our mathematics department. Mathematics is such an important milestone course for our community college student. If they don't pass that course, there's a really high likelihood that they won't complete the program. So if there's anything we can do, something is, to us, it's a pretty easy assignment. It's really easy for faculty to integrate into their course, easy and free for students to do. Is there opportunity in mathematics to add this in? When we tease out just the mathematics, we see even more of an influence. We see 62% of mathematics students' scores increased. And you can see our overall N here is 971. That's almost about 10% of that total population. 29% didn't change, and then 9% showed a decrease. So we were super excited to say, not only does it help over half of the students in the overall population, but even more so for our mathematics students. And then we asked them why. How did you find that helpful? And here we're seeing a theme again. Increased my clarity and focus, improved my mood. I was able to think faster. I was more organized, reduced my anxiety, balanced emotions, and reduced my stress. Exactly what we were hoping to hear is our math students echoing that. And you can see they're about the same thing, about 81, 82% satisfaction. When we ask students if it wasn't helpful to them, a common theme would be that they maybe didn't feel that the math anxiety was just so strong that there was nothing that was going to help them. This might have helped, or they might say, I didn't study like I should have. Mary will emphasize is all other variables need to be the same. You can't stop studying and then replace it with doing the cardio exercise. You have to keep that. So made a lot of sense to us. Okay, so now let's have one of our students give you their perspective. We're going to introduce Lisa, one of our nursing students who engaged in this program, and hear her perspective of how she think it went for her. So I'm just going to switch over to that video.
Hi, my name is Lisa. I'm a nursing student at LCC. I'm in the second degree track of the nursing program, which means I already have a degree, and everyone in my cohort already has a degree. I'm a mom. I'm a grandma. And I work and go to school. One of the other things about me is that I experience pretty severe test anxiety. In nursing school, you have to get an 81% on your grade average, on your exam average to pass. That's passing. And my very first test I got in the mid 80s, I'm good. My second test I got a 71. So now my grade point average for exams is like 78, and I have to get an 81. My next test, I get like a 78. And now I'm panicking. And the reason why I'm panicking is I'm 55 years old. I come from a working class family. My husband's a truck driver. I've been a CNA for 20 years. We have no savings. And because I already have a degree, I'm not eligible for a lot of financial aid. So I paid for this all on my own. It was a huge financial risk for us, but the payoff was worth it. And here I was not passing. So I was pretty panicky. And imagine on top of the panicky, I've got test anxiety too. And I didn't know what to do. And then I remembered. Oh yeah, there was that thing that I learned about exercise and how that can help with anxiety during tests. So I thought, well, it couldn't hurt. And I came in, and they were having a free thing, like you can come use the gym for free, which if it hadn't been for free, to tell you the truth, I probably wouldn't have done it. So I came in right before my test, and I walked for half an hour. I walked a good clip. I had my heart rate up around 110. And I went and took my test. I have to emphasize, I didn't change anything else. I still studied the same. I ate. I did all the things you're supposed to do well on a test. And I went in there and I got an 86. And I said, whoa, there might be something here. So the next test, I thought, okay, I'm going to do this walk again. Let's see how it goes. And I went in and I got a 91. And now my grade point average is like, I don't know, 83 or something, and I'm passing. And it's finals. And I thought, wow, I'm going to go walk. And I did. And I got a 94. I passed. Now I have to tell you a little bit about test anxiety. If you had to take a test in a refrigerated room in your shorts and t-shirt, and you have to think past being cold and take this test, that's what test anxiety is like. It takes up cognitive space. So when I went for the walk and there was no test anxiety, it was amazing. There was a huge weight taken off of me. I could think clearly. I didn't have to push my way through that anxiety to just think. I could just think. It was, I don't know how to describe it. I would advise anyone who has test anxiety, or heck, even if you don't have test anxiety, go take a walk before you take your tests. Come to the gym, move your muscles, get your blood flowing. It'll make a difference. It did for me.
It's such a powerful story, hearing directly from our students. Mary, I want to turn it back over to you if we want to, in closing comments or discussion about how this might look in our different classrooms.
Sure. Thanks, Karen. So yeah, I have to say, I've seen Lisa's video a million times. I know it's a bit of an exaggeration, but every time it gives me goosebumps. And I also need to report that I did run into Lisa. This was right when she had just graduated, and I ran into her in the food commons on campus. And I said, hey, Lisa, I said, I just have to check in with you. And she kind of gave me that look. And I said, let me back up and introduce myself. I'm Mary Croze. I'm the program director for fitness and wellness. And I said, you were nice enough to give your testimony. And she's like, oh, okay. She said, that video kind of made me famous on campus. And I said, great. So she was being recognized on campus by many. But the good news was she had landed a full-time job as a nurse at Sparrow. And so she fulfilled her dream. I mean, she, from start to finish. So she's very excited. She said this was a big part of it. She couldn't have gotten through without the exercise component. And I see Sarah's question. I don't want to speak for Karen, but I do think we probably could tease out nursing data. I will tell you that our nursing program has included our healthy lifestyles, our PFHW 163 as part of their curriculum. So those nursing students are basically required to do the cardio before exam assignments. So I know it is helping. I can also share that I supervise student staff as well, and I get a lot that are in the nursing program. And one of my favorites was, and I told her I was going to use the story. She came up to me during work time and she just said, you know, I don't exercise. And I said, no, I know, that's all right. And she said, and I'm not going to sweat and I'm not going to like it. And I said, that's fine. I said, just get in there. You know, maybe walk around the track, walk on a treadmill. Maybe you'll enjoy the elliptical. I said, we'll find something that you enjoy. That's what we have to find, something that you like, not that you hate. And once she saw her results, she came up to me later and she said, I exercise. I don't hate it, but I still hate sweating. So just one cool story that I like to share. And I told you guys, and I told her, I'm definitely sharing this with the group because I'm sure we get a lot of people that dislike exercise or dislike sweating, but you have to find your thing. You have to help them find their thing or something that they enjoy doing. But like I said, I'm sure we could tease out some of that data. And Holly, thank you for the compliment on our facility. We're very proud of our facilities. We're very fortunate. That's just one of my centers. I actually have two fitness centers. That one was main campus. We also have one out at West Campus. And then we have a separate weight room that's primarily like powerlifting, heavy lifting equipment. So we're very, very fortunate to have the facilities that we have. We have a small kinesiology lab. and a group fitness room too. So I'm very fortunate and very proud of our facilities. Thank you. Is there research of cardio less than 30 minutes beneficial, or is 30 the threshold? So Linda, what we've seen just from kind of teasing out our own data, is what we've noticed is the minimum would probably be 20 minutes, but 30 would be optimal. The other thing that we did, just kind of snooping around through data, is we suggest no more than 90 minutes elapse between the bout of exercise and when that hard test exam or presentation is going to be taken. Now, we're not seeing the students get worse if they let more than 90 minutes elapse. However, they're just not reaping the benefit of the exercise prior to that hard test or exam. Good questions. And I have to give a shout out to Tracy. Thank you, Tracy, for joining us. Tracy was a colleague of ours at LCC, so I saw your hello this morning. Any other questions? And again, I just want to reiterate, this has been a collaborative effort and a very fun one. We knew in our program that there was something behind this. We just didn't know how to, for better lack of words, prove it. And that's where Karen came in. And I will tell you, I'm not a numbers, I'm not a data, I'm not a stats person. And Karen has made this so easy for us to understand and present it, and really get the word out and make it easy for our students and for our faculty to implement this across campus. What we're trying to do next is we do have a new president, so we'd like to get this information in front of him. We have a couple new board members, so we'd like to share it with them as well, but we're really just trying to spend our time spreading the word out that, hey, this works. Can you send us a research brief? I think we can do that, right? Karen, are you good with that? Yeah.
I think if you send it, you can send it to Ken Flowers and he can send it out to the participants in the group.
Okay.
Is individual exercise best?
Holly just put her email address in the chat as well if you want to send it directly to her.
So Linda, that's a good question too about individual exercise. I would say individual or group. A lot of people need that accountability buddy and they will do it. You know, if they have somebody holding them accountable. Kicking a soccer ball would probably work, but it's really about getting their heart rate up. So we're looking at a moderate intensity. So something that would be comparable with a brisk walk. So if they're kicking the soccer ball back and forth and moving around at a moderate pace, I would say yes. And somebody else, I don't want to miss it. It was in the beginning, might have been Holly, mentioned it. This is helpful as we age. That is correct, right on target. There's more research that Dr. Rady is also doing with Alzheimer's and dementia. There's a lot of research with behavioral problems, like, and I don't want to say problems because they're not. I'll just say behavioral different abilities like ADHD, ADD, compulsivity. So there's a lot of stuff that this helps with, and there's more research that I would, personally love to dive into. We're just not quite there yet, because Karen and I are constantly tweaking this and what can we look at next? What can we change next? So there is a lot to be said about physical activity. Oh, geez, Linda, you got good questions. I would think it would depend on your audience. My fear would be competition you might have a few people shy away from that. I know I'm a competitive person, so if you asked me to do this, I would jump in and do it in a second, but that's because that's my personality. I think it would depend on your audience. I think, yesterday I taught Police Academy Fitness, and I did a little competitive cardio challenge with them. And they were a competitive bunch, so it worked out really well, and everybody was laughing at the end of the exercise. So I think you'd need to kind of know your audience, or maybe poll your audience if they would be comfortable with the competition part. Good one, Pamela. So I haven't looked at this, but I have read a few things. Outdoors and connecting and touching to nature does have an impact. Yes. Karen, do you want to hit the test scores?
I'm sorry, I can't see the chat. Would you read
Oh,
it
it
to me?
says wondering if there is an impact on test scores.
Yeah, so the results that we're seeing on the increase or decrease slide is the students, with the competition. That's more you. Go ahead. It sounds like no.
I was going to say, I have not seen anything. No.
Do we have additional questions? If not, I would like to thank Mary and Karen for their great presentation today. And will your slides be available for to present to give to Ken Flowers so that it could be presented to the participants? We will make that available to everybody. So again, thank you so very much for your presentation. Thank you for joining us and participating in this session. We will now release you to go to your next session. Thank you so very much. Have a great day.